Hi, we're here today with Tom Holmberg, better known to the race committee as Bones.
Yeah.
So many people, Tom was telling me that many people don't know his real name, so we're gonna call him Bones because that's what he answers to. Welcome, he's also, I should say, a member of the Arizona Drag Racing Hall of Fame, and has quite a great history in Arizona drag racing. So, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Okay.
Where are you originally from?
Battle Creek, Michigan.
And how did you get from Battle Creek to Arizona?
Went to Denver first and then came down here. My grandpa lived down here.
Okay.
And,
How old were you?
1962.
Okay, so how old you've been? Came down here to work and
20, yeah, well, I came down here because it was warm. Denver was cold, really cold.
so you left.
Colder than Michigan.
You left Michigan to get warm, and it wasn't warm enough.
Yeah.
So
And
you-
the salt, no salt on the roads.
Yeah, that's-
that used to piss me off.
How did you get into cars? What?
Drag racing?
No, just in cars in general. How did you know you're gonna love cars? The first time you remember saying,
Cars?
yeah,
I liked horses first and then cars. What motorcycles? I had a 47 BSA.
that's quite a bike. People talk about the cars they wish they still had. That'd be a heck of a bike to have. It'd be a great
How many?
piece. People ask about the cars they wish they still had. That motorcycle would be a great car, a bike to have still.
Yeah. And then I got a 34 Plymouth Coupe before I was 16. I was probably 14. And I put a Chrysler early 331 Hemi in it with a South 4-shift transmission. And people remember them.
That was the mainstay
Yeah,
transmission.
yeah, that was a hot setup. And then I put that motor, I moved to Denver, and I left the car sitting back there, and my buddies tore the motor and transmission and stuff out, brought it out to me, and I put it in a 41 street brake car, two-door, and I drag raced that, and I got drafted 62, I guess, and then I went back to Michigan, because that's where I had to get my
Your induction.
induction, yeah. And they didn't take me. I had flat feet. And I drag raced back there that summer in that Studebaker. I don't think I ever got beat. And the thing was running good. Had a fuel injector, Algon fuel injector. If anybody remembers that name.
What class would it
B gas.
be? Gas, okay. And there was, you remember what the car ran back in those days?
109. Every time you let the clutch out, it was pretty fast for. I think Johnny Loper was running about 112. I think. Pretty
So-
good for what I had.
Yeah, home built type of deal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Everything was home
I've
built
ever
back
had
then, yeah.
been home built. And I had a Divco truck rear end in it with full floating axles, heavy duty.
Right.
And LaSalle and the Chrysler.
So what people don't understand today is that you don't get a book, open it up, and with your credit card, order all the parts in.
Yeah.
If you wanted something back in the day, you had to build it.
Junkyard.
Yeah. So you knew what fit and you knew what to look for.
Yeah.
So you got to Arizona and said, hey, I like the weather here. So you decided to
Well,
stay.
my grandpa, we used to come down here for the rodeo in the 1950, 53, and I liked horses too. And I liked the weather. My grandpa still lived at I-17 and just south of Bethany, Rancho Drive. And I liked it here. I said, I'd rather be here than back there. The racing wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but back there, that was gasser's heaven back there.
Yeah, the Michigan and Ohio had a lot of great,
Michigan, Ohio,
yeah.
all
a lot of great gasser wars. The gasser wars, the battles they would have, yeah.
Yeah.
Ohio,
And
Georgia.
so I got drafted, I went back there, and then I just left that car back there at a buddy of mine's farm, and came back out here, and then I got involved with drag racing, Steiner's, Albert. That was 62, I think. You had a brand new Chevy. What the hell was that Chevy you had?
Probably 19.
Two-door, 62 Chevy
Well, I had a 60 and I had a 62.
Huh?
I had a, it was probably 62.
Yeah, we went to Mel Larson's drag strip, and me and Tommy Edwards and Fireball. Fireball is a friend of mine. And Tommy Edwards, he got killed in a car wreck.
Great nicknames from the days. How did you get the name of Bones?
A guy, a police guy on my, I used to give him a newspaper on Sundays mornings, and he started calling me Bones, and don't tell me why. And I was 12, had paper up, and it stuck. And then I moved to Denver, and then somebody came out there and they called that, and there was Bones up there.
So everybody caught on to what they called you that?
I don't know why it goes that way.
So you're trying to move away from the name and kept following along.
Yeah.
So that's a good name, though. I mean, it's classic. I know that, Dave Settles drove for you, and
Yeah.
he also drove for Bones Carroll and the Carroll brothers top field car.
Yeah.
So Bones is kind of a honorary
That's
name.
Bones Carroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him at the '59 Nationals back in Detroit. Bones, he had a Model 8 coupe with a Bone Oldsmobile in it.
Yeah, the Carroll brothers were.
Bones,
Called it the Bonesmobile.
Bonesmobile, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic name. So
And
you got involved with racing, and
Yeah.
you started with the.
yeah, I had in that '34 Dodge Coupe I had. I couldn't even drive it. I didn't have a driver's license. I was too young for it. You had to be 16, I think. And I had a friend of mine who was 16. He drove it. At the Kellogg Field in Battle Creek, it used to be a World War II
An air base or.
air base
Yeah.
there. And Kellogg Field. Who's that guy that John Lundberg? He remembered. He
Yep.
remembered it because he was from Lansing.
Yeah, John lives in Tucson now, so.
Yeah. Is he still there?
Yeah, we did an interview with him.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I had a great interview.
Yeah, right.
And he does, I mean, what a great memory. He'll
Oh,
probably
yeah.
tell you
Yeah.
what lane you're in, and what lane the car was in, and how fast it went, and
I asked him about some guys that lived in Lansing, and Tom. I remember he had a '32 coupe. He always won big gas up at Central Michigan Dragway. I remember he was right off.
a lot of drag strips back there.
Yeah, lots of.
And then got to Denver, and there was a couple of them. You got out here, and there wasn't much going on.
Just this one here, and
Yeah.
gases weren't very big. Walker was here, and there was a few. And I'm trying to think of the names of some of the guys I can't remember.
So
Anyway, I got involved with Albert and Steiner, and that got me in the dragster, and then Yule Barnes. We had Bones, Barnes, and the fucking Flintstones. Was the name of one of them. I got a picture of it. Or it was an advertisement. Drag Sports Illustrated magazine used to.
Well, we're going to try to get that picture so we can flash on the screen.
I should have brought them up.
We'll
I don't
work
have
with
hardly
you.
any old pictures.
Yeah, we'll work with you. Our videographer Mike will work with you on that. Get some pictures from you if you can,
Yeah.
phone pictures or whatever.
I got them in a frame. I got one when he won the Winter Nationals with his Barry. Him and his partner was Barry. We got a picture of me going out to the starting line with him. And he won that event. That was 60. Your injected car, your pro comp, you won the Pomona.
77.
Was that?
I won the
Yeah.
Winter Nationals, then I won the championship at Ontario.
That'd be Dave
that
Settles
same year.
talking. Yeah.
I made my that's 77. Yeah, that's right in that area.
So you all the different racers, Arizona racers and such, but you also worked for a fantastic machine shop
Yeah.
in town. You want to tell us about the place and what you in your years there?
It used to be NASCAR Machine, Nelson and Stewart Company, and then it changed to Dynamic Machine. And him and Chauvin Emmons were partners in that. And I worked there for 45 years.
Saw a lot of people, great racers come through there.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Niver, Johnny West.
Mark Niagara worked down there.
Right.
Johnny West worked down there. I remember Johnny West with Yule Barnes and me here, took him to drags when he was about this tall, or maybe he's from Chandler,
Right.
and Yule was from Chandler. And have you ever done Yule Barnes here?
Yes.
Okay.
We have got the video and Johnny West as well,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
we needed to catch up to you. That's why we got you here.
I know, and I was supposed to have been out here the other time, and for some reason.
Well, you did good. You got you now. So when you worked for the 45 years for basically the dynamic machine.
Yeah, made a lot of drag racing stuff and all.
So what we're told is that the great thing about working there is that they supported your drag racing as long as you made the parts yourself. Because
Yes.
because the feeling was if you learned how to make the parts, it made you better machinists.
Oh, yeah.
And that encouragement was like
Yeah.
key. I mean, Johnny West talks great stories about that.
Yeah.
And there have been a ton of great people came through that place.
Oh, yeah.
So during that time, how long did you actively involved with cars? When did you say?
Then, before I actually went to work for him, I started building the dragster.
Okay.
And I took the blower over there to get it shortened, the case shortened up. And he asked me if I wanted to go to work. I said, hell yeah.
So
And
you turned into a job.
yeah, I had machine shopping at school and welding. My dad taught me how to weld when I was about 12. And
What did your dad do?
he was made a heating and air conditioning company back there.
So
He was in 66 East Jackson Street.
Good memories.
Yeah.
So you've raced with the Chandler guys. So you started building a dragster. What happened to the dragster you were building? How did that?
Bill Barnes had a pretty scary lightweight dragster, and he had a Chevy in it, and it was blowing up all the time. And I built a 354 Chrysler. We put it in there and ran it. And Snake, a guy named Snake, or Dick Sowers, was driving it, and we won the state championship. I don't know, 67 maybe. He ran a 760 out there, which was really good at the time. And he trashed it in that same weekend.
Oh.
And, I don't remember. Oh, broke the crank. And spilled a bunch of oil and shit out.
So
that was in the final. That was against Dean Turk.
Another great racer.
Turk, Cox, and Walmsley.
Yeah.
And, it kind of trashed the car.
What,
So I built a new car. And I had that till I quit.
when did you officially quit racing?
1970, really. I'd actually quit before then, but he talked me into going down to Tucson for the, something that Lyle Fisher wanted us.
You went down to
They
okay.
had two fuelers. What? I can't think of the guy's name. What?
Red grass?
No, or red, no, but we raced.
Not Joe the Jet.
Joe McKee.
Joe Jet, yeah, Joe McKee.
Joe
yeah.
McKee. Yeah.
We had a 2 out of 3 or something down there. That was the last time I ran it. It was 4th of July of 1970, I think.
So, what did you like most about drag racing? What did you
I
like?
loved it, but it got so expensive and I just couldn't keep up with it. And I didn't want to kiss anybody's ass to get a sponsorship or nothing. And I started motorcycle racing. Albert had a Husqvarna shop. Started
Right.
doing that, and I said, man, this is a lot more fun and a lot less money going on.
You good?
And I
Yeah.
raced better racing.
So you had the thrill of racing and all that still. And what do you miss about the drag racing though? When you said I miss this, what's your biggest memory of the drag racing?
Well, I'd like to keep going if I had more money, but it just couldn't afford it. It was starting to get. I think it was starting to get pretty expensive then. Not that like not today, but
What a lot of people miss the camaraderie, the people.
oh yeah, I
you know,
really enjoyed the people and stuff.
The great thing is that drag racing, unlike a lot of other racing, is you're gonna race. You're gonna race your competitor.
Yeah.
And if he's broken, you're trying to help him get it fixed.
Oh
so you
yeah,
can race
no,
it.
that's a standard deal.
Yeah, and that you don't see in other sports. And
That was always good, and I knew mostly everybody that, even Joe Ronald and I guess he died. a lot of them, or Sanders, Frank Sanders,
Mhm.
he was just down the street from us. We used to go to lunch all the time, and him and I just said his name. He died too.
Joe McKee or who?
No,
Oh,
guy from Mesa,
no, nobody's gotten out alive on this deal.
Dean Turk?
Turk.
Yeah.
Dean Turk. He worked for Sanders, welding up headers, gas welding.
Sanders was well known for the header business, that's for sure. If you were to advise somebody who wanted to go racing today, and they had the money to do it, what would you say? Would you give them any advice on it? Just how?
If you could afford it, go drag racing. I get tired of watching these NASCAR races and just follow the leader, and it's just getting boring as hell.
So did you
Drag
see?
racing is more exciting to me.
Did you watch the races this last weekend where
Yeah.
Tony Stewart won Top Fuel?
Yeah.
And
I watch all of them.
yeah, Tony Stewart. And
Yeah.
the difference between NASCAR and drag racing is you don't have a second lap. You have to win.
Right,
You have to
right.
win every lap.
It's over.
It's over, and I think the sudden death part of racing is that if you don't win, you move on. So if you were anybody along the way that you that made this racing special for you, or you want to, you remember that that you'd like to share names with us, that's okay.
Red Breath and Lyle Fisher and
Right. It's like a who's who of racing back in the day.
Is Turney still alive, Bill?
Yes, Bill Stoll.
Yeah, and I know them guys from Performance Products where Steiner had his shop, 109 East Buchanan. And all them guys used to come in there, and that's how I got to know them all. And I had a good time.
So what do you do to keep yourself busy these days?
These days,
Yeah.
trying to stay alive.
Well, you're doing a good job. You're
Yeah,
still here.
well, I went to going to the sand dunes, and I built I still got it. A good car, nice car. Got a Chevy Corvette motor, old one. It's 2004. It's a LS6, they call it.
Makes a little power.
It really
Yeah.
runs good.
So you still have that.
Yeah, they got a sequential transmission in it.
Oh, the racer never dies. You still want to fill the need for speed.
It's a lot of fun. It's fast, and I mean, it's about as fast as you can go down there and not kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a lot of fun, but I don't do it anymore. And I got the car's still sitting there and ready to go. I got an enclosed trailer, and I can throw it in there and put it in my car. I had a motorhome, and I got nowhere to stay really down there, and sleep in the back of the truck.
That's not as fun though.
Yeah. Hell, man, babe, you had your truck and I had my truck. We went up to the Sanders. Remember, just put the seat down. And I had a club cab and he had a club cab Chevy. Slept in the truck.
Cinders used to be the big deal.
Huh?
Was quite the deal. The cinders back in the days, up in Flagstaff, the volcanic cinders and such. Well, we really enjoyed having you here today,
Okay.
and appreciate
I
you.
wish I could. I didn't know I was expecting to.
No, we in all fairness, we ambushed you. You weren't ready for this, so.
Yeah.
But you've done. We really appreciate.
Okay.
And we wanted people to know that you had a first and last name as well.
Yeah.
Besides his bones.
Okay.
And-
Who's the guy from Jerry Ruth? Does he live down here now? Yeah, he lives down here. And he was out at the one out there, and I talking to him. I said, God, I couldn't believe it. I said, what the hell are you doing down here? He said, I live here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives in Tempe or something, I guess.
Hmm?
He lives in Tempe, I think.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's.
And I was pretty surprised. Why would you move? Seattle was always a neat place, I thought, but I guess
Was is the key word.
It was. It rains too much. Let's put it that way.
Right,
We won't go into
but,
politics.
You know, every time we went up there, it was good weather.
Yeah,
Except that one, the last
we
time I
got
went.
rained out a couple
Huh?
of times, but they moved it from September into August, and that helped.
Okay.
Beautiful track up there in
Yeah,
Seattle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a nice place. The whole place is neat. I think trees and stuff. And
Yeah, you don't feel like you're that, you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere, basically, yeah.
Who's the guy that we went across to, had that big shindig, we had to cross the.
He's the one that got burned real bad.
Got burnt.
Um,
Herm Peterson.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to
We
take
went
a
over to
ferry
his
to
place
get
and
to his
they had
place.
a monster food, had, I don't know, 10 barbecues going on, shrimp and fish and,
The Peterson and Fitz car.
Yeah.
Yep,
nice guy. Really,
Yeah,
is he
real
still
nice.
alive?
yep,
Yeah,
Yes.
he did.
as far as I know.
Yeah, I believe he still is, yes, as well, so. There's still a lot of us around, you're doing good, we appreciate you being
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Thank you for your time.
Get the next one up there.